Hello again, and welcome back to the White Horse. Just to prove that we don't always take ourselves too seriously, I picked up this at a local car boot sale. Little Ivor was a star of an animation series on British television. It only lasted 5 minutes each episode, and they told the stories of a little shunter in the Welsh hills. This is a money box. The coins went in here, and it's made from resin. And I thought to myself, do you know, that's just about the right size to turn into a Gauge 1 locomotive. It's quite a nice little model. It's made from hard resin. All I need to do is to cut off the wheels and create a chassis for it to go underneath. And there you go, that's quite a nice body. Plenty of room underneath to fit the electronics and batteries. This is my workshop door, the inside surface, and I painted it matte black. And as you can see, I use it extensively for measuring up and working out what I'm going to do. This is just like what my thoughts are. And there we can see that my wheels are going to be 34mm apart. After I've worked it out on the chalkboard, I then transfer it to metal. Well, the chassis's got to be 102. Always use set squares when it comes to working. I'm using a little felt pen, but it could be a scriber. And there we have our piece of metal cut to size. So this is the bit which is cut off the bottom, which is the actual wheels. Now I have some old wagon wheels here, the sort of thing you buy at a bring and buy sale. I need to cut these down so that they end up about the same proportions. So we'll just pop the wheels off the axles and pop them in the lathe. And it doesn't take too long to turn it down to something more reasonable. Now these are wagon wheels, of course, and I have to put on a place for a connecting rod. So I'm making up some little ones here and they will go there. So let's just tap a 2mm thread. No problem in aluminium. So now we can just unscrew these little units. This is the 2mm screw I'm going to use for the connecting rods. And now we have those little units all the same size. Then make up a little disc the same size as the wheel, and then of course cut it into 4 for the counterweights. Now with the aid of the old araldite, we'll stick these parts onto the wheels. Well, there's the wheels done, let's pop them on the axles. This is a budget motor, and I'm going to use this to power the little thing. They only cost a few pounds. Here are the electronics that are going to go inside the locomotive. Very simple manual speed controller here. This is on and then faster and slower. This is going to be forwards and backwards, and on the bottom you can see the charging socket. The motor is plugged on there and the battery is plugged on there. And this is how it will be mounted in the back bunker of the engine. Here's the little chassis. There's the plug leading to the motor. And there's the plug from the battery. I like these little plug and play systems. So this is just going to plug together. And this is mounted temporarily on a frame, and I'm just going to stick that there so we can go outside and we can do a second systems check. So here's the little chassis ready for check. Turn the loco on, put it in forwards, and if I turn that there she goes. Running nice and smooth, a little faster perhaps. Whee! Great stuff. Now going to reverse. And there she is in reverse. That's all ready for installing into the loco. Meanwhile, the locomotive body has been tidied up and sprayed with primer. I fitted the electrical control equipment to the back of the bunker. Now I'm going to fit the chassis for a trial. Well, here she is all in grey, ready for her first test run as one unit. So it's a simple case of putting her into reverse, turn it on, and back she goes. Let's put her onto a wagon and see if she'll pull the wagon. Put her into forward, turn up the controls, and away she goes. Ivor strikes again.
Ivor the Engine. There he is, look, on his way to Grumbly with a flat truck of spuds and another pair of new boots for Mr. Dinwiddie the gold miner.
One thing that has become apparent is her centre of gravity is terrible. She very easily tips up. So I'm going to have to put some weight up here in the smoke box. Back to the workshop. Here's the components of the chassis, all painted and ready for assembly. Let's get on with it. So we can go from wagon wheel to loco wheel in a few stages and a lick of paint. From a simple school electric motor to a gauge 1 driving device. So there's a keeper plate secured to the chassis. Now you may recall under test the engine used to tip up like this. So I've made up a weight here which is going to screw onto the front and hold it in place. So here's the little battery pack, which is a AAA x6 7.2 volts nickel metal hydride. That sits on the chassis there, and then that weight I was telling you about sits on top and is held in place by a little strap which is going to be secured in this hole here. Magnetic screwdrivers are very, very useful, as you can see. So now we're going to put the connecting rods on. So there we have it, the little chassis ready for test. So I'll just turn this on. It seems to be working okay. Well, I've done a bit of a paint job on the body shell and tidied up a few things inside, so now let's put that in there. Tweezers are very useful. I'll just put the regulator knob, and that'll be fast and slow and forwards and backwards. All my assemblies are plug and play, so we simply plug them together. Right. So we now just have to feed these two together, and there it is. Just going to put the retaining screws on now. There we go.